Much for tuning back into my channel. Listen, my name is Charmaine Marie. I am your angelic healing practitioner, and I am back with another message. It's not what you say, but it's what you enforce. So as y'all know, I have a community that I'm building called Oconee Rebirth Temple, and it's going to be for people that have been silenced by trauma, you've been rejected by religious systems, and then also you've been misunderstood by your family, right? So as an angelic healing practitioner, I get these intuitive downloads, and I come on here and I give you the messages that God gives to me, right? Now, one thing about this life, it's not about what you say, it's about what you enforce. Just like it's not about what you say, but it's about what you do, right? So I'm from Missouri, the show me state. And so we don't just talk about it, but we are about it, right? We bout it, like Master P said. So listen, everybody talks about standards, right? You got a lot of people that talk about it, y'all, but very few actually stand on those standards. And so you can post about boundaries, you can quote about boundaries, pray about boundaries, but until you force them, nobody takes you seriously, okay? This is just the truth. And I'm coming from a spiritual place because I'm a spiritual person, and we're talking about healing, you know? And how do you heal, after being rejected and silenced by trauma and being misunderstood, right? Sometimes it's just best to be quiet. It's just best to be quiet. I'm just saying, because see, when your words and your enforcement don't line up, this is when confusion reigns, right? And so this is why some people treat you casually. Okay? Because your consistency, it hasn't spoke yet. And so, listen, let's just be honest, because we've all said, I'm done with this. Okay? How many times you said, I'm done with this? And then you answer the call again. Okay? Or you said, I'm protecting my peace, and then you entertain chaos. Some of us have said God first, and then you compromise for comfort, right? So let's talk about this. Let's discuss this energy, because see, listen, words are seeds, right? But see, reinforcement is the soil they grow in. Let's talk about it, because see, listen, if you don't protect the soil, the seed die. Do you understand me? So y'all need to protect the soil. Words are seeds, but enforcement is the soil they grow in. So listen, God honors consistency, y'all. He moves through structure, through order, through boundaries that match your declaration. So if you say I'm healed, but you keep walking into the same cycles, okay, you're not enforcing healing. You're rehearsing hurt all over again. So this is why oftentimes God don't send you back to the place that he brought you out of. For what? You've already been delivered from that place. You already saw what you needed to see, and it ain't no use for you to go back. Because some people's hearts just don't change, especially when it concerns you. So listen, let's talk about this. Enforcement, it is your spiritual backbone, y'all. So it's what separates those who believe from those who become, okay? Listen, when your enforcement, it aligns with God's order, okay? People, they feel it. They feel it even when you're silent. They might not like it, but they can't deny it. They cannot deny it. Think about Jesus. He didn't need to shout about his authority. No, he didn't need to do none of that, but his walk enforced it. Demons, they recognized it before he even spoke a word. And see, that was his alignment. That was alignment, y'all. So God is saying to you today, I don't need another promise from you, but I need your reinforcement. I need your reinforcement. Because see, your enforcement is faith in motion. And so it says that I don't just believe God, but I build like him. I build like God. See, maybe the reason why certain things keep repeating in your life is because heaven can't trust your enforcement yet. Okay? And so, listen, you can't keep announcing change, but you keep entertaining the same patterns. You keep praying for clarity, but blurring the line every time pressure comes. Listen to this. So this season, let me tell you, God isn't measuring what you say. He's not. He's watching what you maintain. This is what he's doing. And when you start enforcing divine order, something shifts. Peace. Your peace return. Distractions flee. and respect increases, right? Not because you demanded it, but because you demonstrated it. Okay? You showed people what it was. It was your enforcement that was in motion. Okay? And so guess what? Let me tell you this. Here's what enforcement it looks like in your daily walk. You no longer argue your boundaries. You embody them, okay? You stop over-explaining your value to people who already saw it and they tried to mishandle it, okay? You align your schedule, you align your habits and your speech with what you said you believe. That's what you do. And then you let your follow through speak louder than your frustration, right? See, people may resist it at first. That's what they might do. But see, eventually they adjust to what you consistently enforce. So listen, consistency is your true authority. Anybody can speak well for a moment, but only those who enforce last through the test. That's it. So today, stop trying to convince people. You don't have to convince the room. You just enforce the order that God gave you. That's it. Because see, when your life preaches louder than your lips, heaven is always going to back you, right? So it's not what you say, but it's what you enforce. And you have to walk in that. You got to live in that. And you have to watch alignment, okay? Alignment will bring the respect that your words never could. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Quiet doesn't mean weak either, but it do mean that you know your authority. That's what it means. So, this world that we living in a world obsessed with proving points, defending positions, and then clapping back. You know what I'm saying? See, real power is learning when not to speak. So sometimes the loudest enforcement is your silence. Yep. We think silence is passive, but silence can be positional. Let's keep it real. It's not running away. It's rising above the mess, okay? The disrespect. That's what it is. So see, when you really know who you are, you don't waste your energy explaining it. You let your consistency confirm it. Jesus, he even stood before Pilate, remember? He said, accused and mocked, misunderstood, but it said Jesus still made no reply. When they did this to him, he was accused, he was mocked, he was misunderstood. And what did Pilate do? He was amazed, because guess what? Jesus still made no reply. And see, that's the real power. That's the power right there, because see, when you carry divine authority, even your quietness has weight. Okay? Every time you hold your peace, you enforce your position. You're saying, I'm not arguing about what's already settled. I'm not finna do it. And that's what the enemy hates when you go quiet. You go quiet, but you still stay grounded. You still grounded. He can't stand that. So God is teaching many of you in this season how to operate in strategic silence. That's it. Not every battle deserves your words. Not every accusation needs your defense. And sometimes silence is the spiritual courtroom where God testifies for you. That's it. When you go quiet, that's when heaven starts to speak. I'm trying to tell you. Heaven don't play. Okay? So when you stop explaining, God starts exposing. God will expose people and things and places to you. Do you understand me? And when you stop reacting, that's when peace starts ruling. And it's not that you're ignoring things. No, you're just enforcing a higher standard. The Bible says, be still and know that I am God. Ain't nobody else God. He don't need no help with what he can do for you in your life. No. You're saying my silence is not fear, but it's faith. I trust that God can fight this one better than my mouth can. And see, here's the truth. Let me tell you this. See, when you learn to be quiet, in the face of chaos, you become unpredictable to the enemy. Yep. You become unpredictable. Yep. And so, he doesn't know if you're retreating or reloading. And that's spiritual maturity right there. So listen, this is what it does look like. Well, let me tell you. You stop posting responses to everything, to every misunderstanding, right? This is what this looks like practically, all right? When you listen, when you go silent. You let your fruit do the explaining, right? You refuse to argue with people committed to missing your point. And guess what? You hold your peace in meetings and conversations, in the text messages, and watch how peace protect you. Because see, your quiet becomes a filter. It removes who's committed to confusion. And it reveals who respect your composure. That's what it revealed. You know? See, silence has a way of revealing what noise was hiding. And so silent power is not weakness. No, it's about wisdom. You're not avoiding confrontation, but you're enforcing peace. You're not backing down, but you're building discipline. Do you understand me? So your silence, listen, let it speak for you. This is a season to go quiet. Okay? And listen to this. Let your stillness stand guard over you. Okay? Let your silence speak for you, like I said. And then when you move in quiet authority, listen, the world may not understand it, but see, heaven recognizes it instantly. So your silence, what it does, it enforces God's will louder than arguments could. Do you hear me? So go quiet. I want y'all to go quiet and watch what God says through it. Watch what he say. Because see, you're not losing people. No, you ain't lost nothing. But you shedded some weight. That's what you did do. You're not being abandoned, but you're being aligned. Okay? And when you finally enforce your boundaries, see what it does? It exposes who was only around for access. That's it. Not assignment. People ain't on an assignment like you. Some people just want access. That's it. And so here's the truth. If they fall when you enforce, they were never meant to stand beside you. Never meant. That's why John 6:66, it says, from that time, okay? From that time, many of his disciples, Jesus, they had turned back and they no longer followed him because he didn't chase them. He didn't water down his message to keep them comfortable, okay? And he simply kept moving in purpose. And that's what enforcement does. It clarifies the relationship. See, when you hold your standard, people reveal their posture. That's it. So when you go quiet and you stop explaining, see, this is when people motives, they get exposed. So sometimes the fall away is not punishment, it's just protection. That's it. God is protecting your next level. Your next level from being polluted by yesterday's patterns. Okay? So check this out. He's removing distractions from you that would delay your destiny. He don't have time. You're on an assignment. You can't drag everyone into this deliverance. No, not this one right here, baby. This one right here is personal. So some people can't survive the silence God's calling you into. They can't stand it. But see, guess what? I see God is saying this. Listen, I feel strongly in my spirit that he wants you to stop chasing. He said, stop chasing what I've released. I released these folks. Why are you still chasing them? Stop fighting for what I've already filtered. So you keep trying to resuscitate. Is that what it's called? I think it's called resuscitate. What heaven has declared finished. It is finished. It is so. It is over. End game. It's over. Told y'all it was flip the script season, right? And so check this out. You're calling it loyalty, but see, heaven calls it disobedience, right? Because heaven has declared that it is finished. And there are connections that served a reason, okay? Maybe just for a season, but can't handle the enforcement of your calling. They can't handle this thing. So when you start enforcing peace, this is when chaos leaves. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, baby. And so guess what? Let me tell you something. When you start enforcing truth, lies detach. When you start enforcing holiness, compromise disappear. And so you'll be tempted to go after it, to fix it, to explain why you're different now. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do none of that. But see, this is the test of maturity. Can you let it fall without trying to catch it? You got to let it fall. And so guess what? Sometimes catching it means this too. It means that you'll carry what God tried to cut off. And so you're stepping into a pruning season. That's what's going on right now for you, okay? And so pruning, it always looked like loss. And so this happens before it feels like growth, though. Let me tell you that. Okay, when you go through those seasons of pruning. But see, hear this. Pruning is not rejection. I told y'all it is refinement, right? And so God, he removes so he can reveal. I told y'all, okay, after you heal, here comes the great reveal. And so guess what? This is how you walk this thing out. When people, they distance themselves, bless them. Bless them and release them. Do you understand me? See, when old habits call, don't negotiate. Enforce the new standard. And when you feel the urge to explain, pause and remember this. Silence is strategy, okay? And so don't chase conversations that God already closed. You don't have to prove who left or who left wrong, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to prove nothing. You just have to remain where God placed you at. That's it. Because you on an assignment. Let your enforcement protect your peace and let your silence enforce the separation. Do you understand me? And so guess what? You got to stop chasing. You got to stop enforcing. Because listen, if it's falling, let it fall. If it's fading, bless it. And if it's breaking, trust that God is building something new in this place. Because guess what? Every time you release what can't go with you, okay, heaven releases what was waiting on you. Do you understand me? So you don't have to fight for those God is removing. No, let them fall away. Go quiet, enforce your peace, baby, and let these folks fall away. Okay, see, your silence is not lost. It's proof that you're finally trusting his order more than your own emotions. Do you understand me? So you don't have time. You don't have time. You're on an assignment and you got stuff to do. Let these folks fall away. You go quiet, you grow strong, and the discipline of enforcement will operate. That's it. Every time you go quiet, you strengthen your spirit. This is what people don't understand. Most people think that growth comes from talking. No, growth don't come from talking or explaining or convincing who you are. No, it grows when you go quiet. That's it. So God, he often grows his champions in the quiet. Silence is not absent. No, it's discipline in action. That's what it is. It's the training ground. where your spirit, it learns to walk without approval. You don't need nobody else's approval. God already approved you. You don't need no approval. You don't need no applause. And you don't need no chaos dictating your pace. You don't need that. And so guess what? Discipline, y'all, is never popular. It still ain't popular in the world we live in today because everybody is operating in disobedience, right? And so guess what? People are undisciplined. Let's just be honest. And so fasting and prayer and silence and boundaries, they are all forms of spiritual enforcement. Do you understand me? And so when you enforce your own peace, okay, when you refuse to over-explain, you train your mind and your spirit to rely on God. You rely on God. You don't rely on people. People don't have no plans for your life. I told y'all this. And so every time you pause, instead of arguing, you strengthen restraint, okay? And every time you step away, instead of reacting, you're strengthening your wisdom. Okay, you don't have time. Listen, every time you say no instead of yes, you strengthen your integrity. So you strengthen restraint, you strengthen wisdom, and you strengthen your integrity. And growth is not external. It's not. It is an internal thing. And so what God is doing, He is shaping your character, okay, in the quiet places where no one is watching you. And so think of these seasons. Remember Moses in the wilderness, Joseph in the prison, David hiding in the cave. Their growth wasn't in the spotlight. It was not. It was in the silence, okay? The silent enforcement of faith. And so you're being trained to walk in authority without needing validation. You don't need validation from what God already called you to and told you to do. Okay? So listen to this. Listen to this. You're being taught to enforce your destiny without a fanfare. You don't need no fans. Okay? Listen. Silence is your secret weapon. I'm trying to tell y'all, every quiet moment is a deposit into your future strength. Do you understand me? And so going quiet, it's not about, listen, it's not retreat, but it's preparation. And when you enforce peace, God can release provision, okay? When you enforce patience, God can release strategy. When you enforce self-control, God can release promotion. Do you understand me? So your quiet season, no, it's not wasted, but it is a spiritual stockpiling. That's what it's doing. And so the enemy may see your silence as weakness, okay? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. But see, guess what? God sees it as maturity and training. That's it. That's it. And so the strongest trees, they grow roots. Okay? They grow roots, y'all, where the storms don't notice them. So your roots are growing, but it's growing while the noise of life thinks nothing is happening. That's it. We walk by faith, not by sight. And so guess what? When the storm comes, your quiet discipline, it will hold you. The quiet discipline is going to hold you. See, you thought people was going to hold you, but it's going to be your quiet discipline that's going to hold you. So check this out, y'all. Here's how to enforce growth through silence. Let's talk about this. See, you have to guard your speech. Speak only what builds, what instructs, what blesses. Protect your time. Limit conversations. Limit distractions, okay, that drain your peace. And refuse to explain every move. You don't have time. Let your life demonstrate what words can't. Enforce rest, okay? Rest is holy, y'all. Do you understand me? And listen, prayer as sacred. Unnegotiable standards, okay? And so when you do this consistently, let me tell you, your quiet, it becomes your spiritual muscle. That's it. Every challenge, test what you've built in the stillness. So your quiet, it becomes your spiritual muscle. And every challenge, it will test what you've built in stillness. That's what I was trying to say. But guess what? Going quiet is also not It's not defeat. I told y'all that, but it's discipline. Every time you pause, every time you enforce your peace, you grow stronger. And quiet, y'all, is a training. It's a training ground for spiritual growth, okay? Your silence is producing fruit right now. Your restraint, I told y'all, is producing strength. Your enforcement is producing authority. So you have to stay still. You got to stay still. You got to stay disciplined, okay? You ain't got time. Because God is growing something in you. He's doing something in you that words alone can never achieve, right? And so listen, I'm talking about this silent authority that God is building. So the strongest boundaries are the ones that you don't have to explain. You have to learn how to enforce your standards without explaining yourself, okay? See, listen, people have been trained, y'all, to try to justify or clarify or defend every choice. But guess what? The real authority, it does not ask for permission. It commands respect naturally. And when you enforce standards silently, listen, people, they begin to recognize your power. They sure do. Without saying a word. Without you saying a word, I mean. So listen, think about Daniel. Remember in Daniel 6, he was in the lion's den. Daniel did not beg for respect. He didn't explain why he prayed 3 times a day. He didn't water down his standards to fit the king's court. He did not do that. He simply lived, y'all. This is what you got to do. His life enforced his authority. And even the king had recognized it. And so this is the principle of silent authority. You don't have to defend your boundaries. You don't have to justify your convictions at all. And you don't have to convince anyone of your value by any means. When your life, when it aligns with God's order, see, your boundaries speak louder than any argument. I'm trying to tell you. And so people, yes, they're going to try to test. They're going to try to push. They're going to try to question, okay? But see, your consistency is louder than noise. Your enforcement, it ain't about punishment. Nope, it sure ain't. But it's about teaching respect. You teach respect. Stop explaining what I already defined in you. This is what I hear the Spirit saying. Let your life enforce it. When you consistently enforce your God-given standards, I'm going to tell you, 3 things happen. You filter relationships. Only those aligned with your purpose will remain. That's it. You protect your peace. Because see, silence becomes a shield against unnecessary arguments. You don't have time to argue with nobody. You cultivate authority. People start following your example instead of listening to your explanations, right? So authority is recognized, baby. It ain't never begged for it at all. And so when you enforce standards silently, you ain't arrogant, but you are aligned. You align with God and you align with your purpose. And so even God, he operates this way, y'all. Consider how he allowed Israel to experience discipline and boundaries. He didn't explain every move. No, he did not. He enforced his standards. And guess what? The outcomes spoke for themselves. It sure did. So your life should do the same. You don't have to explain nothing to nobody. Here's how to enforce your standards too without explaining yourself. You stop over clarifying your decisions. You let actions speak. Hold your boundaries firm even when tested. And refuse to justify why you protect your time, your energy, or your values, right? And so you live consistently, okay, so that your peace, it becomes proof. And so when you do this, people will stop asking why. They'll start respecting how. You know what I'm saying? Silent authority is powerful because it is a non-negotiable, yet it's non-combative. Know that. You enforce your standards without apology. You don't convince, you stop convincing, you stop defending. Your consistency, your peace, your boundaries are teaching more than words ever could. Yep. So guess what? Remember I had told y'all it was flip the script season. Now it is fall away season. Fall away season. That's what it is, y'all. Fall away season. It's fall away season. Let it fall. Don't beg for what God is breaking. Nope. Some seasons are meant for pruning. Some people, habits, patterns are meant to leave, okay? You can't force growth where God has called for release. You cannot. Enforcement in this season is not aggression. It's obedience. And so God is always pruning for the future. And so you got to think of a gardener. Okay, the gardener with a vine. He cuts, and the cuts may look harsh, but they are necessarily for the new fruit to grow. Understand that. So even in your life, God, he prunes relationships that try to hinder your destiny. Do you understand me? He'll take these people out of your life so far away from you, you don't listen. They won't know where to find you at. He removes distractions. He removes delays. He removes compromises. Do y'all understand me? You're trying to hold on to what is being removed. It'll only bring you stress. It'll only bring you confusion. And it'll also bring you some stagnation into your life. And I know you don't want that. So guess what? If you begging for what God is breaking, you resisting his order. This is what you're doing. And resistance, it delays the harvest. I'm going to tell you that. So this is the season to enforce your boundaries and to let go. Listen. And enforcement doesn't mean either coldness, y'all. That's not what it means. It just means that you trust in God's process. You're not trusting man's process. So don't chase what God is pruning. No. This is what I hear the Spirit saying. Don't chase what I'm pruning. Don't grieve what I am releasing. Do not grieve, okay? I am making room for your next level. I'm making room. Pruning is not punishment. It's protection. It's preparation. I'm telling y'all. See, when people fall, it truly shows who belongs in your next season. I'm telling you. And it removes that energy. Energy drains that distract you from destiny, from your destiny. It's going to remove that energy vampire spirit. The drainers. It clears space for God's new assignments. And God is not abandoning you. No. But he is aligning you. And your obedience is measured in what you don't chase. You're not here for the chase. No. That's it. Every time you release without fighting, you enforce God's order in your life. And God, yes, God's pruning, it may feel painful. It feels very painful, y'all. When God is pruning some stuff and people, places, and things out of your life. Okay? But see, it enforces your future fruitfulness is what I was trying to say. So guess what? This is how to walk through fall away season. This is fall away season. It's the season of fall. But then you about to have some stuff that's finna fall away. When relationships drift, bless and release. Don't chase. When old habits try to resurface, I'm telling y'all, enforce new standards. Without compromise. I'm telling you. And when it hurts to let go, remember that pruning produces growth. God's timing. He's preparing you for the next season. He's not abandoning you. So you got to enforce this detachment. It's a form of spiritual discipline, y'all. And watch how freedom, take root. Watch how clarity take root. Watch how peace take root. I'm telling you, fall away season is not no loss, baby, but it's alignment. It's alignment. Stop begging. Stop resisting. Go quiet. Enforce them boundaries, okay? Enforce them. Enforce them boundaries. I'm telling you what I know. Because I done did this in my own life. I'm never going to tell you something I ain't did in my own life. And so guess what? It's quiet season. Fall away season is quiet season. Okay? Go quiet. Okay? See, talking, it convinces people. Enforcement transforms people. And so listen, this is the simple truth. Your life speaks louder than your words. I'm just saying. It's not the promises that you make. It's not the speeches that you give or the explanations that you offer. It's the boundaries that you enforce. It's the peace that you protect. And it's the faith that you live. I'm trying to tell y'all. So guess what? Go quiet. Because see, your silence, it enforces more than endless talking ever could. Enforce your boundaries. People learn. They learn from your actions, not your lectures. Let them fall away, because God removes what cannot walk with your destiny. Okay? And you grow strong in discipline, because see, your quiet seasons are training ground for spiritual growth. Do you understand me? And so silent authority, this is true power. Okay? And true power, y'all, it don't need no justification. Let God's trimming enforce your future fruitfulness. Okay? Prune, you're going to release, and then you're going to know your worth, and you're going to walk in it. You ain't just going to know it, but you're going to walk in it, right? Because see, enforcement, it begins with recognizing your divine identity. That's it. And living with enforcement, y'all, it transforms your life, but it also transforms the lives of those around you. You don't have to defend your destiny. You let your life enforce God's order. You don't negotiate your peace. God is calling you to a season, listen, where silence, where discipline, where boundaries will speak louder than any argument or explanation ever could. I'm telling you. People will test you. People will leave you. People will misunderstand you. But your faithful enforcement of God's standards will remain unshakable, baby. I'm telling you, it's your authority, it's your power, and it's your obedience. Just stop talking, start enforcing, and let your life speak. That's it. You live so strongly in your enforcement that silence becomes your loudest sermon. That's it. That's it. So make sure y'all like my channel, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and listen, thank y'all so much for y'all support. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to be back with another angelic intuitive message.